got some nice long hair. And
Welcome back to the Unbearable Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Barron, and welcome back into another game preview. We are going to be breaking down Week 4 Chicago Bears versus the New York Giants. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're out there on YouTube. Rate 5 stars anywhere that you are listening to this show. And also, we continue to raise money for the Thorn organization that helps fight against human trafficking. So just rate 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, and we will donate an additional $1. We are up to 12, I believe. So let's try to get that 15, 20. Let's try and do that. Make sure to do that before the end of the month. But Mr. Johnny PayPal joins me today. How you doing today?
Doing pretty good. I just hope the people in Florida are doing well with the hurricane right now.
Yes.
It's just, I was seeing some images, and Brad, and I was like, oh my gosh, like that's why I'm also glad we live in the Midwest. There's usually not too much crazy weather that goes on like that, you know, and it's like, it's just crazy how massive that hurricane is. It's just, you just hope and pray for them.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. And I know my best friend Nate out there, he's flying helicopters in the Coast Guard down there. Like he's stationed down there, and it's nuts. Like I was texting him today, and he just said like, yeah, I'll be flying helicopters down there, like flooding, and I'll be flying my helicopter down there soon. So God bless you. Like stay safe, everyone. And he sent me pictures of his house where it's just like they bolted everything in. Luckily, where he lives, it's not hitting as bad. So like his wife and kids are all there. Like he's stationed somewhere that I don't know. But he's flying his helicopter. He's flying helicopters down there for the Coast Guard to make sure everyone's safe. So yeah, everybody, any Bears fans from Florida, stay safe.
That takes a different type of breed of person, you know, just flying helicopters and 100+ mile an hour wind.
It's like that's what he does, you know, like that's what also excites him. It's just for everyone who's like served anywhere, it's like you're a different breed type of thing. Like it's just it's absolutely crazy where he's like, that's what he does, right? And that's why he signed up. He wants to help people, he wants to save people. So Nate, if you're listening, thank you. But also if you're watching, you might notice that I have a very tight fitting sweatshirt on. I was telling Johnny PayPal beforehand, if everyone looks like it's super tight, I finally got some merch. You can buy it down below, but they sent me the wrong size.
So, I was like, Brad, have you been working out? And then I was like, oh, his arms also got a little longer too. And you know,
I can't even pull up. Like I can't even like pull up the sleeves to make it look good. So they're sending me, so I'm testing out the support system as well. They are going to be sending me a new sweatshirt sometime soon. So this is going to be my wife's sweatshirt after she's not pregnant anymore. Then she could maybe wear.
I could probably fit your kids too. You know?
It might. It is a very small sweatshirt. I saw this. I'm like, there's no way this is fitting me. But I am dedicated to wearing it. Like it came last night and I'm like, I'm wearing it tomorrow. I need to pull these down. I'm like cutting off the circulation in my arms. But also just a little bit of news too. So my third baby's on the way in, sometime in October. So just so everyone knows too, I'll actually be scaling back some of the shows, unfortunately. So we're only going to be doing 2 shows a week, just pre and post. But still, you're going to be getting the best coverage you can. So make sure to subscribe and follow the show. It helps out tremendously. And if you want to help out too, there's actually a donate button, like a little like give thanks if you're watching out on YouTube. If you want to donate some money to help me out in fatherhood, feel free to do so. I greatly appreciate it. But that's enough about us. We got to start talking about this Chicago Bears 2-1 versus 2-1. The national media is probably most hated teams that are 2-1 right about now. So one of the teams is going to end 3-1. We are traveling to the New York Giants Stadium to see what we can do. And honestly, this seems like a very winnable game. So what we're going to be breaking down today is first injury report and the news. Then after that, key additions and losses that we've seen from the New York Giants, so we kind of understand the roster and where there might be some optimism, pessimism from the Giants side. But then positional breakdowns, and last, we are going down to the game predictions. So let's start off with just the injury report up front. So the Bears injury report, we are recording this on Wednesday rather than Thursday. We had some stuff come up, so we had to shift it up a day. But Matt Adams was out last week, linebacker for us. He did not participate again on Wednesday with a hamstring injury. Those darn hamstrings, I tell you, because Dane Cruikshank hamstring injury did
contagious.
Did not participate. Yeah, bad case of the hamstrings out here. Then Ryan Griffin, good sign with his Achilles injury. Must be an acute Achilles injury. Limited Wednesday, so hopefully he can be out there. Jalen Johnson, our star corner, quad injury, did not participate on Wednesday. Bayless Jones Jr., though, said that he's feeling a lot better, had a issue with his hamstring before, is limited on Wednesday. Keep in mind, he's not participated every other Wednesday, so this should be a good sign. David Montgomery, I heard he didn't even show up to practice, wasn't even at practice. No one could see him.
Huh.
Did not participate, ankle and knee injury, and Roquan Smith limited. Hey, pal, anything stand out for you?
Yeah, I hope that this is his week. I feel like we talk about him every single week. Like, this is the week where our pass offense can actually emerge because Velus Jones Jr. might be coming back. And then, he doesn't come back, and then we only get 100 yards of passing offense. So hopefully this is actually the week that we get him. And I wonder if we'd actually see a difference if he does play. That'd be something to look out for.
Yeah, and I feel like they need him too, because in other injury news, we saw Byron Pringle get placed on IR. And chances are he's going to be out for the rest of the season. So goodbye. The Byron Pringle, we're probably not going to see him again in a Bears uniform. It was quick, it was brief. But it's unfortunate because he was also looking halfway decent out there. He was a good run blocker, as we all know, but something to look out for. Hopefully, it seems like Bayless should be back. This is Wednesday night, so it seems like Bayless should be back here. But also, another thing to look out for is the following week after this Giants game, N'Keal Harry can come back as well. So that's why I don't think that the Bears are going to be. I know some people are like, the Bears should sign this, they should trade for this. I think honestly, they're hoping Bayless can be back. Otherwise, I am predicting that maybe Isaiah Coulter gets brought up from the practice squad, one of those active game day elevations. But also, some other roster news. Joe Thomas is now on the active roster. I think that's good. Also, probably telling that Matt Adams, since he's not participating, just keep Joe Thomas out there. And he played well at that Sam linebacker spot. So even though I want to see Sanborn, keep him out there at that starting Sam linebacker spot. And we also signed Reggie Roberson out of Louisiana Tech University, undrafted rookie free agent. And I believe he was actually playing for the Giants. But basically, a little bit about him. I think about him kind of like a Darnell Mooney light. Skinny guy, fast guy, 5'11", has a 6'5" wingspan, insane, but was seen in 2019 and 2020 as a game-breaking ability type of player. But then he suffered a big foot injury, undisclosed foot injury that knocked him out, and then an ACL injury the following year. And in 2021, just did not look like the same player, did not have that explosiveness. So you can tell that the Bears are just going to see, does he still have that explosiveness? But we probably won't be able to see him. He's just going to be out on the practice squad. So they just want to try people out. But also, PayPal, something that sticks out to me, Jalen Johnson not participating.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me nervous. We did see some good play out of our corners, but obviously when you have him there, it just locks down one side of the field.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, yeah, Jalen Jones, he did not play bad. Again, it's just no news from a corner is usually good news. I feel like I did not hear his name at all. I almost forgot he was playing.
Yeah.
And yeah, he did well. And with the injury, I mean, we're going to be talking about it soon, but with the injury of Sterling Shepard that probably a lot of people saw, on Sunday night or Monday night, they don't have that many good receivers that we have to worry about. So obviously it's terrible seeing him down, but not a bad week to be injured.
Yeah, and let's actually go over to the injury report for the New York Giants. And PayPal, one of my favorite things nowadays is looking up the injury report for the opposing team, because for
Yep.
the most part they just post it out. The Texans had a nice graphic. The Bears always have a super nice graphic. But here's New York, right? The media center of the world. And how they posted their injury report, I kid you not, they retweeted a guy named Dan Solomon, just tweeted out, here's the New York Giants injury report, and they just clicked retweet. Like, who's the social media manager over there that's like, I'm not going to do work. I'm just going to click retweet. And they do that all the time. Like, you look at the New York Giants, they're hardly posting anything. They're just retweeting stuff. So they're a lower tier type of social media out there.
So we're going to win if we're talking social media. We had a close matchup against the Texans because they also have a good social media team. I guess Packers have a really good social media team,
Yeah, they put both for the Packers. So that's what we're judging this game off of, is the social media team.
So we're gonna destroy the Giants.
Yeah, it should be not even close. But the injury report, the aforementioned injury report, Cordell Flott, a cornerback, did not participate. Nick McLeod as well from the Giants. Then wide receivers, Wan'Dale Robinson, Sterling Shepard, and Kadarius Toney did not participate today. Jihad Ward, a linebacker, did not participate. And phenomenal defensive interior player, Leonard Williams, did not participate with a knee injury. But Justin Lane was limited with a concussion, and Aaron Robinson was limited with a concussion with a appendix injury. So
Joe Burrow.
Yeah, exactly. We got Joe Burrow out here. But overall, yeah, you see a lot of the injuries like what PayPal was mentioning out here, where they just have a lot of banged up wide receivers and some of the cornerbacks as well. But overall, Sterling Shepard was placed on injured reserve. So that's one more wide receiver that you are not going to be seeing out there for the New York Giants. But PayPal, anything else that kind of sticks out for you?
Not too much. I love seeing Leonard Williams out. He is difference maker. And I mean, we saw last game in the Giants on primetime. It's just they were not really able to stop the run at all. And I think it's a huge difference when you don't have this big old Leonard Williams just stopping them. So, yeah,
sure.
I mean, yeah. And also for the people that were listening, Brad did not mispronounce Wan'Dale Robinson.
Right.
It actually is Wan'Dale, like with a W. So Brad can pronounce his R's, just to let you guys know.
I hate saying that name. It's like I imagine his mom being like, "Well, I can't call him Rondale. That's been done before, right?"
Yeah, Wan'Dale.
What else can we do? Wan'Dale, or maybe his mom can't pronounce her R's.
Yeah.
His dad,
on the kid. Yeah,
his dad can't pronounce it. They're like, "See, Joseph, this is why you shouldn't have said it. You should have written it down." And now our kid's name is Juan. But some other news too. I'm not even going to I just want to bring this up. I don't even want to talk about this, but there's so much discussions with Justin Fields about him being a leader. We will talk about Justin Fields' play. Like nowadays, because we're already in the season, I don't really care what people say like during the week. There's not much that you can kind of put to it. Like what Matt Eberflus kind of talked about, potentially blitzing a little bit more, but seriously, that could just all be a smokescreen, like for real. But also just last little bit on the injury report, I would be shocked if David Montgomery played. And honestly, I kind of hope that he doesn't. Rest up. We can see what Khalil Herbert is. My guess is that this Bears team wants to evaluate, and they want every single competitive advantage possible. They are not going to announce that he's out until the last point that they can, even if it's DNP, did not participate all week, then they'll say, okay, he's out. Or maybe they will be like, he's doubtful.
Yes. I love it.
Just to give
a little little Bill
Yeah.
Belichick, that's what that reminds me of,
For sure. So let's go through some of the Giants' additions and losses, just in case if anyone was curious, what did they do this offseason? The key additions all came in the draft. If you remember, they had our first round pick because of the Justin Fields trade. And with that, they got Kayvon Thibodeau, the edge out of Oregon, and Evan Neal, the offensive tackle out of Alabama. Then they drafted Daniel Bellinger, a tight end out of San Diego State, I believe, a little bit later on, maybe in the third round, I believe. Then center John Feliciano, and they signed, and guard Mark Lewinsky they signed as well at the guard spot and is their starting right guard. Key losses: Austin Johnson at D tackle, Logan Ryan their safety, Evan Ingram the tight end, and Keon Crossen, the defensive back. Special teams, so must have been a big special teamer for them because I have not heard that guy. And also, you don't see special teams out there too often. But PayPal, let's start out this preview with this Bears offense versus this New York Giants defense. So actually coming into this too, the Bears are ranked 23rd overall by DVOA, 28th offensively, and 11th defensively. So we're moving on up. There we go. Like, it just
Some
took
good numbers.
Yeah, we're not going to be good against the Packers, but I looked at it too. We have I think they ranked us like the 10th or like 8th best passing defense, and then 20th run defense. But then if you look at, I think PFF has the Bears as a good run defense. It all depends on who you ask. But special teams, we are ranked 22nd and overall for special teams. So that's kind of been staying put. Hopefully that moves up. But the Giants are ranked 28th overall, according to Football Outsiders DVOA, 20th on offense, 28th on defense, 13th special teams. So really not a good team. And PFF, I just came across this as I was looking up the stats and like grabbing the screenshots for the show. And they are ranked the worst team in the NFL. Like not 31st, 32nd, worst offense, worst offense, worst team, and 28th worst, or 27th, sorry, worst ranked defense. They don't look good. They're not that great, right? But yeah, statistically, as Nano's saying, yeah, we are number 2 run offense, which is absolutely incredible. And yeah, just a powerhouse running the football. But PayPal, let's get in to this Bears offense. You have the running attack, so you're going to be breaking it down, what you feel about this high-powered run offense. And my thumbnail says the Bears will steamroll them. Is that true?
Well, yeah, Brad, you're basically handing me the whole Bears offense, just giving me the run offense. I mean, that's just who we have been this entire season. And sad enough to say, I think that's going to be the game plan again. I mean, the Giants do not have a good run defense. They let up almost 5.9 yards per carry against the Cowboys last game. And I mean, they would have been more if they stopped playing Ezekiel Elliott. Ezekiel just looks slow to me, but
Tony Pollard gang, man.
Yeah, Tony Pollard gang. But yeah, it's just the way our guys block up front. I feel like everyone just loves attacking, and pushing them forward. And Khalil Herbert, the way he just shifts so quickly, he doesn't lose momentum. He's not going lateral. He still stays moving forward no matter what he does. And that's why we just saw huge runs from him, big gains. And I just don't see us stopping. I mean, they got one guy at the defense tackle spot, a little worry, but besides that, their defense just is not very good. Their linebackers, not good. So
yeah. I agree with you there. Like, to me, this is like a perfect matchup. And this is where I don't really want to see David Montgomery out there, because I feel like what you can do is with these linebackers, like their strength is the defensive interior, right? Like O'Shane Zimenez has been playing pretty well, but also they have Dexter Lawrence, who is a good run stuffing defensive tackle on that interior, really more played in their base rather than on passing downs. So if you're just running around, they have Kayvon Thibodeau on the outside, but I feel like you have some terrible linebacking play. Like the two worst linebackers, according to PFF, from a rating perspective. Austin Calitro has never been good, but he's starting for them. And also, Tay Crowder has another person who has been terrible. I just pulled up his PFF grades. 38 grade in 2020, 29.1 in 2021, and 29.1 this year as well. So they're not good on the interior at all. Like, so to me, it's like run to the outsides, run that outside zone, which is really Khalil's game. And man, I also like what Nano's saying. If you go double tight end, dude, I don't know about you guys, but I love Blazing Game.
Yes.
Game.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Yeah, they were saying they've been increasing his play time every single week, and I don't remember the stat exactly, but it's just our offense is so efficient when he's out there. It's just like we average like 10 yards every time he's out there, because all you got to do if you're a running back, it's so simple. Just run behind him and he will create a path for you. And not many people have fullbacks in this league. So when you go against an offense that has a fullback, like a defense probably doesn't game plan too often for that. So when they see this guy, it's just, how do they game plan and how do they work against this absolute unit in Blazing Game?
Yeah, I agree. And Tiff asked in the comments, who's our other tight end besides Kmet? If Griffin's injured, what's good is Griffin was Griffin was always kind of questionable, kind of heading into it. He was limited today, so hopefully he can still play. Otherwise, you're going to see, oh God, what's his name?
Tonjes. Jake Tonjes.
Not Tonjes. The other, I'm blanking on his name. He's the guy that we picked up from the Jets off of waivers. I'll look it up. But he was in a lot before. But what's good too is he's another good blocking tight end. So that's where I'm excited to at least kind of see that, but also Blazing Game, because he's just Trayvon Wesco, and he got an 89.2 grade last game. Holy crap. An 82.3 run block. So if you're curious if he's good, he played well last game and he blocks well. So I love it. And also Khalil Herbert, third best running back in the league, according to PFF. So yeah, I feel this is going to be like, just run it. I feel that's the thing. Just tell Justin Fields, like, you don't have to, this is not your game plan, right? Like, you don't have to pass. You don't have to be dominating in the air. Just run the football. That's how we're going to win. Make it seem like that's how you beat them, because that is how you beat them is by just running the football down their throat, running it on the outside. So we shall see. But PayPal, anything else from this?
Yeah, I'm also the same way. It's like, to win this game, just keep running the ball. But I hate to say it at the same time, Brad. It's just I know how you felt the same way, but like I felt like we lost last game just because of Justin Fields not passing the ball. And like, as Bears fans, we want to see this passing game. We want to see Justin Fields actually, do some decent things out there besides just the preseason. It's frustrating, and I mean, we just hope the best, and hopefully he can just kind of, like you said, just kind of fit in this system and try not to just go for these deep balls and just make it really simple for himself. Like, don't put all that pressure and just play your game.
Yeah, and I was going to say something, but I have the passing game next, so I'll wait till that.
Okay.
And I won't steal this yet, but PayPal, I think I already know who you're going. Who has the edge?
Easy edge on the Bears. I mean,
Let's go.
Literally against any team, maybe like the Buccaneers, I would maybe say we wouldn't have the edge, but with Blazing Game blocking us and just how well this offensive line, like, people don't get enough credit. Like, our offensive line is not elite, but like very good in the run game. Like they have not done many flaws in the running game. Passing game, it's been iffy, but
Yeah.
yeah,
It,
it's clear win for the Bears in the running game.
so question for you though too, just because on the offensive line, who do you think ends up starting in the center right guard combination? Because that's just been that's
Man,
been the story.
well, I don't know if you've heard any of the practices with Tevin Jenkins, but I mean I haven't. But like the way the coach has been talking about it is if he gets a full week of good practice, Tevin Jenkins, then he will play as right guard. And he just has not had a full good week of practices. So I hope and pray that he does have good practice because he had like coach was saying he had like 4 good practices and then Friday he did not practice well. So then he's like, "Yep, he's not playing."
I heard it was Wednesday. It was like you got to practice, but it was like that. It was like you got to
yeah, it's
practice
just like
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday,
exactly.
Wednesday. Yeah,
Yeah,
like but
and it's
Friday.
just yeah, so I'm just hopefully I just want this to be over and just kind of set Tevin Jenkins right guard, Lucas Patrick center. We know it's going to happen one of these days. So why don't we just do it now?
It needs, and also too, the tape does not lie, right? Like
It doesn't.
like Tevin Jenkins is the better guard. Jenkins has played better. Like anybody with eyes watching that game, you go, Tevin Jenkins is the better guard. And I hate bringing up like the ratings too. Tevin Jenkins is ranked the 14th best guard, tied with Cody Whitehair. He got a 71.7 grade. Lucas Patrick is ranked 55th with a 52 grade. But if you watch the tape too, Tevin Jenkins is moving people. Tevin Jenkins is doing great. Lucas Patrick is not playing well. Like he's playing very and it just doesn't make any sense that you don't play the better player. And I know that they're trying to instill a culture. It seems like that must maybe what they're doing too is maybe that's how they motivate him, right? Maybe it's just motivation for him. They know him. They kind of can feel that with him. Like he just needs to like you just have to say you're gonna get fired if if you don't play. So I think that overall though, like just give him the job. I
Yeah,
just want
and
to see it.
I just don't want to see Mustafar anymore. Mustafar.
Yes.
But yeah, I just don't want to see him anymore because he just seems like a weak point in our offensive line. But
Yeah. I
we'll see.
and I know that he has Mustapher hasn't looked terrible, but it's still like you just don't we know what he is, right? And we
Yeah.
know Lucas Patrick, yet again, Lucas Patrick is not this all pro center, not this, amazing center. He's like a step up from Mustapher at least. But also I'm just pulling up the numbers. Lucas Patrick has allowed 4 pressures or 4 hurries, and Tevin Jenkins only 2. And the big difference is from pass blocking. Lucas Patrick on 38 pass blocking snaps has let up 4 hurries. That's not good. And on 29 pass blocking, 2 hurries. So Tevin Jenkins, 96.4% efficiency, while Lucas Patrick, 94.6. So
Ooh.
there is a difference there, at least from the numbers all around. But yeah, so coach is biased from Tiff Tiff. They brought Patrick here. Exactly. They want to show Patrick, and that's exactly what it is. They want to show him out there and have him play. So it's unfortunate, but hopefully we can at least hopefully we can eventually see Patrick at that center position. But Bears running advantage. So let's go over to this passing game because this has been an issue for us. And honestly, I look at the PFF ratings too, and it kind of makes me excited because you see Equinemius St. Brown is rated well, and he's been playing well as well. So 28th wide receiver out there, awesome. But Darnell Mooney has not been great. Justin Fields is ranked the worst quarterback, like we said in the post game. He has played like the worst quarterback. That is why he's rated the worst quarterback right now, because he's more talented than a majority of the quarterbacks out there, but he hasn't played well. If I'm offensive coordinator, what I'm doing is, I mentioned this a little bit before. I'm saying what we are going to be doing is we can run it down their throats. I'm putting on the Dallas game. I'm saying this is how they won, right? They won by running it down their throats. So make Fields not feel like he has to be the hero, right? Fields, since day one, has been the hero, the savior for the Chicago Bears. We've never had somebody this talented. He's more talented than Jay Cutler. He's more talented than any other quarterback that we've had. He's more talented than almost all the other quarterbacks that have come out for any draft class. Right now, he has this hero complex. He has to be the hero. Try and take the pressure off of him. Don't tell Justin, you have to do this. You have to lead us. Let it be known that we are going to run it down their throats. We have Juice Herbert in the backfield, and he's going to dominate. And I heard that Johnny PayPal says that we have the advantage running the football, right?
Oh yeah.
They're listening. They're going to run it all the way down. And that's where I just feel like take it off of them. Say we can do easy, like try and give them those easy passes, but really just focus on that running game and make it feel that way. Not like, Justin, you're not doing anything or you're not capable of this, but try and like take the training wheels off. It seems like a confidence issue with Justin right now, where it's like if you just run it on 3rd and 10, or you run down the clock when there's a minute left and you have all your timeouts because you don't believe that you can go down there, it shakes your confidence. If your boss doesn't have confidence in you, sometimes, depending on who you are, that might motivate you or that might make you more nervous for the next time that it happens. Majority of us, that's what's gonna happen. So I just feel like you gotta, like as Nano says, you gotta pound the rock. But even though I haven't said like anything about, it's all mindset, right? That's what I'm going off of for right now, is try and just have him get out of his own head with this.
Oh yeah, because I don't know if you saw his interview today at all, but he just seemed, I don't know if he's just mad at the media, because every time he hops on the media, it's like basically them just telling how bad he is. Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do like that? And it's like, I think he's just so sick of him. Like he just seemed so just like, get out of my face. Like he just wants to work. He just wants to get better. And especially with this team, it's like it's almost just that next play mentality is just so embedded in these guys. I feel like Everfoo's just kind of is like, cancel out all the outside noise, just focus on our game, focus on getting better. And when you got the media just yelling at you, he's like, dude, just stop. But Brett, I love the run game. Like, do that. Just please, no naked boots. I don't want to see those ever again. They just don't work. I'm so sick of them just doing it, and then it turns into like a 15-yard loss every single time. So hopefully they can just incorporate the play action, but incorporate it in a better way.
I think though too, it's, you just have to, like, they just need to watch the tape, right? They need to see like they what they need to do is they just need to like know that someone is going to be sitting back there waiting for Justin Fields. And I think like it works when you have other things working. And like what's good is when you have somebody back there and you do run some naked boots, is that, yeah, you do have the ability to, when you run the football, someone's not covering someone because they're covering the quarterback essentially. But yeah, like more people are catching on to it. So maybe try to not make it as gimmicky. I hate that we run so many screens. And I know that a lot of people are like, oh, it's a confidence booster. I feel like part of it is like, it's kind of that kid, like I have worked places, I have gone places when I was younger where age was definitely like a thing, right? Like where some people treat you like a kid. And I was a consultant and I'm like, I know my stuff. You're paying for my service and I know what I'm doing. Right. But some people, they treat you like a kid, and when they keep knocking you down, it affects you. And I know Nano out here was saying it might not be a confidence issue. Part of it, I think, honestly, it's not like it's 100% a confidence issue, but I think that it does play into it at least because you haven't been that guy, right? And I think too, whenever we've seen him play, it's the big plays, right? But let's actually go into some strategy because I've been talking about the mentality. I think this offensive line has a good chance against this defensive line. There's not a lot of these amazing pass rushers out there, but the only thing that gets me a little bit nervous is we said this last week with the Houston Texans. Kayvon Thibodeau is coming back. He missed, I don't know, he was playing week 3, so he is back. Looked decent. Looked like a decent pass rusher out there. So I am a little bit nervous about him. But also Dexter Lawrence, like I said, in the middle, a good defensive lineman that's not listed out there, but I'm assuming Leonard Williams is not going to be playing. Nick Williams, though, if you guys remember, the former Chicago Bear who had one good season, then left, he's out there, nothing to really worry about. Maybe wants to have a little bit of revenge. It might be that whole Thanos, like, I don't even know who you are. Like, he's trying to get his revenge, and everyone's like, who are you? But really, I do get a little bit nervous with some of the pass protection for the Bears, just because I think that we will let some stuff up. Justin Fields does hold on to the ball a lot. There's nothing that has shown that could get better. And it sucks saying that, but until we are proven wrong, then this is just how it's going to be, right? Like, but also I don't mind Borum. Also, Whitehair's been playing well. I think that the line has been solid, but it's not 100% on the line. I think it's honestly 50-50. There's 50% of the sacks are on the line, 50% of the sacks are on Justin for just not going through the reads quick enough, right? And that's going to be the key thing. Is he's always going for the home run. He's always going for the big play. He's always trying to play hero ball. And I think if you can try and let him know that he's not, like, you don't have to be the hero, right? We just need some yards. We just need some plays. So hopefully we can do that. But let's actually talk about the wide receivers because we have not talked about them during the game. Cole Kmet, where has he been? Cole Kmet has not created a lot of separation out there at the tight end spot. This is a great spot for the tight end because you are going against terrible linebackers in Crowder and Calitro. I would try to attack in the middle. And also, some of the cornerbacks, they do have Adoree Jackson, who Adoree Jackson has been a consistently good cornerback. Flott is a rookie out of LSU who's played decently so far this year. And their slot corner, Darnay Holmes, has just been okay, right? Not the best, but you can attack some of these cornerbacks. I don't think, yet again, game plan should be all about the run, but I think overall, just from a passing perspective, if you can get Bayless out there, maybe you try some trick plays with Bayless Jones. Not like, and let me mention this, not trick plays as in, wildcat formation, doing stuff like that. I'd like to see maybe an end around with him, like what you were doing with EQ St. Brown. Run it with Bayless to see what he can do. Or if you want to run a screen, run it with Bayless because he's got the speed. He's got the juice. He's able to bring it up and have that speed. I would only want to see some screens with Bayless at least. But I think overall it's hard because to me, I just want to see Justin Fields just make quicker decisions. Just like, yeah, Bears bones out here. Have fun. Exactly. Have fun and just let them know, like, hey, sometimes we just need the easy play. Sometimes we just need the simple play. Because you see all the stuff when everyone's highlighting who's open, it's always the easy play. He's always looking for the big play, which I love about him. Also can't stand about him. But that's his biggest issue there. So, but anything else, it's hard to even say anything about this passing game because we just haven't seen anything.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like, I almost agree with Luis Sarti. It's just like I almost want Justin Fields to be able to just pass 30 times in a game, but I know it's not going to happen just because our run offense has been so successful, and it's really not part of Eberflus's game plan. It's kind of staying for the long haul, defense, like manage the clock, all that stuff. So I want Justin Fields to be able to be a gunslinger, but unfortunately, I just don't know if we'll get that time yet. I think we still gotta wait, be patient, and I totally agree. Justin Fields just has to have fun. I mean, I
Yeah.
have not seen him smile in probably 2 weeks, which is not good. I mean, that's why he was not doing good last year, and then we saw this year in the preseason, he was smiling ear to ear, and then even week 1 when we were winning and he's sliding all over the field, so just go back to those happy memories, Justin Fields, you know, play some music that will bring you happy, like Pocket Full of Sunshine or just some
Oh,
some
shit.
happy vibe
You,
music,
you think he's listening to a Pocket Full of Sunshine?
No, no
Just
way.
like, what do you listen to before a game? Pocket Full of freaking Sunshine. That's what I'm listening
Some
to.
Kids Bop, oh
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. But also, Nano mentioned something. Flus was asked about backup. The media, seriously, like they're gonna ask him about the backup over Fields. That is the dumbest question I've ever heard. So
Yeah.
somebody asked him like that. Somebody asked him if he's gonna play the backup over Fields. I can't believe that. Like
Yeah, that's
that's like
disgusting. It's like, yeah, that's disgusting. As a media, you should not be saying,
that's like
especially,
yeah.
it's just, ugh.
Whoever said that, they should just take away like that person's press pass and just rip it up, right?
Yeah, right
Like
there.
like just rip it up. Be like this. You're just fishing for a headline. Just be like, nope, you're out. Like, just if they need like a stupid question meter, like if something
Mhm.
becomes that stupid, they're like, nope, you've lost your privileges. You can't be with us anymore. Leave right now. But yeah, I think Tiff Tiff
Ugh.
is talking about this too. The media, the fans, like we're harsh. We are like right now we're harsh on them because we are 2-1, and it's something to be happy about. Honestly, majority of people were saying we were going to be 1-2, or a lot of people were probably saying a win 3, right? Like,
Mhm.
but honestly, when we get into the schedule, there's a way that we can get 5-2. Like it's legit. Like we can actually be 5-2, which is crazy to say. But overall, though, I just got to finish up my segment. This pass, uh, I can't give it to us. I can't give it to us right now. And I think that we're going to be running the football. I think that that is such our it vaults us over anything else. So to me, I am giving the Giants passing defense the advantage over our passing offense. But PayPal, that was a long segment, a lot to talk
Yeah.
about. Switching over to this Bears defense versus the Fighting Daniel Joneses. PayPal, you have the passing defense versus Daniel Jones. How are you feeling about this matchup?
I'm feeling pretty good, Brad. I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, the Daniel Jones was not having the best time against the Cowboys. He was pressured for 36% of the snaps.
Oof.
So he was getting bombarded. And that's with also 12 QB hits and 5 sacks. So I mean that's also when you got DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons. That's just gonna happen.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, but I mean I said it in the beginning. I mean their wide receivers are banged up, like Darius Toney and Sterling Shepard. It's huge that they both are not playing. Those are quick, shifty guys. And when you look at these guys now, it's like the only really name I'm like, oh yeah, I know who that is. Like right on the top of my head is Kenny Galladay, and he's had zero production
And they're
ever.
trying to trade him.
Yeah, and they're trying to trade him. So it's like even though Jalen Johnson may not play, it's like I am very confident we can shut down these wide receivers just from a cornerback to a wide receiver matchup. Um, The only their tight end Bellinger is someone to look out for. He has been pretty good. But again, I love how our linebackers been playing. Roquan is finally kind of getting into that groove now.
Yeah.
I believe he's number 1 in tackles now in the league.
Really?
Um, which I was
I
surprised.
would
I'm
have
like,
got 16 or whatever it
yeah,
was last
yeah, yeah,
week.
16, 17 or whatever. And I was like, okay, I guess that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, and Morrow, he's just been exactly what I feel like we've wanted out of him. I mean, he's even kind of exceeded our expectations with actually being somewhat decent in the run game. Um, but yeah, again, Danny Dimes, I think it's his 4th year, I believe. I'm
Yep.
still I think people hate on him more than he deserves. Like for me, he actually looked decent. Maybe it's coming from a quarterback that
Everyone looks
basically,
decent. Yeah.
yeah, basically only threw 100 yards. Daniel Jones doesn't seem too bad. He escaped the pocket a lot. Like he's one of those guys I feel everyone forgets that he's almost one of the fastest quarterbacks in the NFL, which is just crazy to me. Not shifty, fast.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
and so he escapes the pocket a lot. So just look out for that if we can contain him. He had, let's see here, he had 9 carries, 79 yards. So hopefully we can keep him kind of contained and not escape the pocket and force him to throw to these not too not too good wide receivers.
I feel like I know. I feel like I know where you're headed with this. If Jalen Johnson doesn't play, are you concerned at all?
Oh no, I'm not. Yeah, again, it's just the receivers aren't very good, and Jalen Jones played pretty good from what I saw last game. I mean, again, it's always hard to see not looking
Yeah.
at the all 22, but it was. I mean, yeah, always no news is good news for cornerbacks.
We got a great question. Where are the sacks? Because yeah, we need to get some pressure on them. Where do
Step
you
one,
think this
Brad.
is coming from?
Step one, Brad. Alkeem Muhammad, play less.
Yep. Yes.
I'm on the bandwagon of just not really playing him too much, and it's like our second line almost seems better. Like again, we were watching the game together, and it's
Yeah.
like bring in the backups. Like that's when we
Yes.
actually get pressure.
It
um,
is.
it's
It
just yeah,
really is.
it
Armand
really is.
Watts. Yeah.
Armand Watts, like, the whole shebang, Robinson, Travis Gibson, it's just all those guys. It's like maybe because they're not tired, but they always seem to bring the energy. They seem to bring the pressure. And I don't know. I'm still scratching my head why Alkeem Muhammad plays. And I love Robert Quinn. I love what he's done for our franchise like last year, but I just like to see him go just because I'm excited to see, Robinson and Quinn, or not Quinn, Gibson. I
Yeah.
want to see these younger talents kind of emerge rather than this old fart that just, kind of he's helping our team win. Oh, for sure. But he just doesn't have the potential and that excitability that we're looking for.
Yeah, and zeroing in on this line matchup as well. Um, the New York Giants, according to PFF, they are the third worst offensive line. So here's the problem. Andrew Thomas, to me, is that left tackle. Here's another time that our best pass rusher, Robert Quinn, is most likely going to be going against, or is going to be going against their best player. And yet again, he went against Tunsil. He went against um uh Trent Williams
Williams,
with
yep.
the 49ers. And he did go against Josh Nijman, and then that's when he gets his sack. It's going to be another difficult time and another bad interior of this offensive line with Glowinski has not played well. And also Bredesen, Feliciano, everybody in the middle is not that good. And then Neal is having a terrible rookie season. He's ranked 69th out of 70 tackles. So second to
Nice.
worst right tackle. So to me, it's like, please, Al-Qadim Muhammad might look good during this game, and hopefully he does, because that is the matchup to exploit. He let up 3 sacks last week. He's got let up 4 sacks on the year. We need to get a sack on this guy and just keep putting pressure on the quarterback. And I think that's the spot that we can actually do something on this line.
Mhm.
But PayPal, anything else just from attacking it?
Yeah, no, I think that's it. I mean, I remember last week where I was like, yeah, we're gonna get 4 or 5 sacks against the Texans, and yeah, only got 1 with Justin Jones. So yeah, hopefully that can maybe that was just kind of a fluke. But
Yeah, play Travis, play Dominic Robinson, play those guys that are hungry for it, that want to go against this rookie and want to dominate. And hopefully we can take advantage of Evan Neal on the outside, but also it's just the interior. I think that's the hardest part too, is that you look at our defensive interior, we just haven't done well. Justin Jones has not been great. Blackson's not been great. Blackson, according to PFF, has been terrible. The 118th defensive tackle out of 120. So no love for Angelo Blackson there. And I think he's not been good, but I don't think that
not that bad.
not
Yeah,
that
come
bad.
on.
But I think they're also looking just how he kind of just is overly aggressive, I think, is something that's a little bit difficult. But I think that's where we need to get some of these sacks. We need to get some of that stuff out there. And let me just see Evan Neal real quick. Yeah, 94% of pass blocking efficiency, not great. But still about the same level as our guard, Lucas Patrick. So that is something just to kind of keep note of. But he has let up 4 sacks, 1 QB hit, and 5 hurries. But PayPal, who are you giving the advantage to? The Bears pass defense or this passing offense led by Daniel Jones?
Yeah, Brad, just looking at kind of how their offensive line is just not ranked well at all, except for the left tackle and all the injuries that they've had at the receiving core. I just got to give it to the Bears. I mean,
Yep.
we haven't done terrible. I mean, it's just no quarterback really has passed over. Well, we've had 200-yard games, but no one's been, throwing 300-yard games to our cornerbacks, even though we have not been able to get the pressure sometimes. So hoping for the pressure this game. I mean, there's no excuse when you got one of the worst right tackles in the game right now. So hopefully we can just get something this game.
Yeah, and here's the thing too, is he could get better, right? Like he could get that whole regression to the mean, right? Chances are not going to be this terrible all year, but he's been bad. He's been really bad. And maybe this is his rebound game. He's at home. He wants to be playing behind the home fans. That could be something that goes on here. But also kind of transitioning. I got the run defense. I got to give some love to our safeties. Now, I just had to look this up because I wanted to just double check. Jaquan Brisker missed a bunch of tackles week 1 and week 2. Missed 3 tackles week 1, missed 4 tackles week 2. He missed tackles on 43% of attempts his week 1 and 29% in week 2, but missed 0 last week. That's progress. That is huge progress. That is going to be a key to this game, is that if he can just not have that just massive missing of tackles, just wrap up. It's great if you want to go for the ball. I get it, but he needs to make sure that he can tackle. But also going over to Eddie Jackson, he's missed 5 tackles yet again. Not a great number. You want to see that number low, but that's going to be key. Are these safeties to make sure you can control Saquon Barkley? I drafted Saquon in my fantasy league. He's good. He's been good. It seems like he's been back. Unfortunately, I am playing him against this Bears run defense because we've let up a lot of yards. We have. The pass defense should be applauded. We've looked good, but we've let up a lot of runs. We did only allow 4 yards a carry last week to Dameon Pierce, but still there was a couple things out there that I didn't love, but still, we did well at Dameon Pierce. Hopefully this is just us getting better. Matt Eberflus talked about emphasizing cupping the running game and really kind of honing in on that. And it looks like that did pay off, and hence the reason why you saw the run defense play a lot better. So I think that this defense is going to be a lot better. I think that we're going to be looking good, but Saquon Barkley is a man that is going to be very hard to bring down, very hard to tackle. I think he's going to get his. I think he is, right? I think he's going to make a lot of tackle. I think he's going to make us miss tackles. But this is another game. Roquan Smith, It seems like he's starting to understand his position now at that weak side linebacker position, because Matt Eberflus even talked about it. He didn't just go in instantly. Like they said, "Oh yeah, we just throw him in there. It's Roquan Smith." But what actually happened is he didn't know how to play the position. He didn't know how to do this. And you saw that the first 2 weeks, and you saw him get a lot better in week 3. So I'm hoping that he takes another step forward. I still think we allow a good amount of rushing yards because I think that's going to be how they're going to try and attack us. This pass defense is good. Nick Morrow, he's fast. He's a good cover guy. Roquan Smith, good cover guy. Jalen Johnson, freaking locking people down. Bill Dort has not been bad. Unless they decide to just attack Kyler Gordon. I think they're going to be running the ball. I think they're going to end up with over 100 rushing yards. And maybe if Muhammad's not out there, then maybe they can get under 100. But I think overall, in all seriousness, this is going to, and I think also Saquon Barkley, if I were Saquon, I would want to do well against the Bears because that's when my career went downhill. He tore his ACL against the Bears, and I think he's going to have a good game. I think, to me, PayPal, I've been talking a lot. Any thoughts on this run defense for the Bears?
Oh, you've been doing good, Brad. I mean, I feel like I'm more optimistic on it. I think we did see like how good our run defense was last game, and
True.
granted, it's not like, oh my gosh, it's the Texans. You're not like, oh my gosh, that's not an amazing team, but still, it's an NFL team, and like they're gritty and they played tough. So I think our run defense is kind of on the upswing. You talked about it, the cupping, and I mean, that plays for the corners and that plays for the whole team, honestly. But I think most importantly, the linebackers. Like we actually saw Roquan and Morrow like flying to the ball.
Yep.
Like last week, it felt like they would run it to the outside against the Packers, and you're like, where are our linebackers? And it's like they would be stuck on blocks, and a lot of the film, like I would see, is just Roquan just backpedaling and not really attacking, the blocker and kind of fighting for, the yard, fighting for the edge. He'd be like almost backing up, and you're like, you're a linebacker, like get in there. So, I'm more optimistic, and I'm kind of excited to see our run game against, a very good running back.
Yeah, and one thing too, yeah, because hopefully we get that progress like you were mentioning. And I noticed too, and we joked about this last week, that one of us becomes optimistic and one of us becomes pessimistic. And it's
Yeah.
because we trade these back and forth, because one gets our pass defense, which has been great, and our run offense, which has been great. And then our run defense hasn't been that as good, and our passing offense hasn't been as good. So with this, I'm kind of going with it. I'm saying that advantage New York Giants. I'm giving it to Saquon. I think ultimately, but I think it's a slight one. I think that's the big thing, is that I don't think it's as big as a lot of people think. But I think you make a lot of good points where this team has shown progress. We showed progress last week. We said, hey, this is what they needed to work on, and they did it. I think there's a lot of coach speak that people say, but this was legit. We actually looked better. The linebackers played better. The defense looked as a whole better. And two, well, it was against the Texans. Well, we're going against the Giants this week. It's another bad team that hopefully we can kind of get right with this run defense. But overall, though, I'm giving it over to the Giants. But PayPal, we have gone through the offense and we have gone through the defense. So that leaves us to our favorite segment, the special teams review. PayPal, anything on the special teams review?
I mean, we saw Kyra Santos, like everyone was loving him after the game winner last week.
Yeah.
He even did his own little Chicago Bears slide, because he didn't slide on the first week. And
Yeah.
it was like I was just like, that was very disappointing, and it was kind of cringe. I think he was expecting to slide a little bit, and he just went nowhere. Like he just went for the dive and just it almost like looked like it hurt a little bit. Like you're like,
I like to
oh
think he knew.
man.
Yeah, I like to think he knew.
Yeah, I like to think he knew, but yeah, he was just feeling really high off that game winner. And but yeah, I mean, Carlos Santos, he's back to making kicks, like comfortable with him. Hopefully, we talk about every time. Hopefully, Velus Jones can actually come back. I'd
Yep.
love to see him return. He's just so fast, so quick. Treston Ebner just looking so slow, like even in the running game last week.
Yes.
Like I remember watching him at training camp with you, Brad, and I was like, wow, like we got some talent in this guy. Like I was so excited to see him. I was, team Treston Ebner, and then it's like, where did that go? He almost looks more bulky, and when you see him on TV.
Yeah. Don't play him out there. Like just if Khalil Herbert's the guy, just play Khalil Herbert at running back. And yeah, and honestly, this is the thing. I know that a lot of us want to see Velus out there. A lot of us want to see him. If he's not 100%, just put him at
Mhm.
kickoff and punt return. I know, like, yeah, you're more prone to getting injured. That's where he can provide the biggest value, I feel like. And maybe you put him in just a couple plays, right? And imagine this. You don't even have to like give him the ball. If you just have him doing like running around and just so it's like that fake motion where is this a wide receiver reverse? If you just pretend to give him the ball, I guarantee you everyone's going to follow him because they're like, oh, number 12's on the field. We know that he's just this big play guy. Use him as a decoy, right? Like use him as a decoy for some of this. I would love to see Velus out there in full capacity, but if he's like 50% or like 60, 70, and you're nervous about how he's going to be, just put him. I want to see him on special teams because I feel like we need it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm totally on the side of if he's not 100%, just don't even play him because if your hamstring's not doing well, you're at a big risk for ACLs. So we do not want him to if he's not healthy, his hamstring's not feeling well, just don't play him. We do not want an ACL tear.
And that's why you're the medical guy. You know more about that than I do. So yeah, we'll see if we can just kind of continue to go out there. But yeah, like as we see, they got a good field goal kicker. And since so many other wide receivers have been gone, it's like Wandale, I believe, was going to be the punt returner, kick returner. But yeah, like not the best special teams unit, but yes, just hoping for Velus. But PayPal, we got some game predictions now. And I don't think the people might know, but we are undefeated so far. Like actually everything's been undefeated. My predictions from the beginning of the season have been undefeated. The simulation at the beginning was also undefeated. And or after I simulate it right beforehand. The one that I did for the AI prediction had got the Packers wrong. But when I ran it right before the game, it got it correct. But it's still predicting win. I predicted win at the very beginning. But PayPal, we've been correct with everything. So what is going to be the actual
yeah, I mean,
just
if you're from Illinois, just literally just place your bets as you're listening to the podcast right now, like whatever app you bet on, just not actually, I'm not encouraging that, but I think we win. I mean, the simulation says it, the prediction says it, I say it. We're gonna win. I was so optimistic after last game of like, here's the Texans, here's kind of finally a not like top tier team after we faced the 49ers and then the Packers, like these elite defenses as well. And I was so excited, like we're going to score so many points. Our offense is finally going to look like legit. And then, it did not look amazing. So I'm going to be kind of more pessimistic, kind of just not be too crazy on this one. I think we're going to win 20-17. I just see us just running again a lot.
yeah.
200 rushing yards plus again. I don't see why we would stop doing that. Khalil Herbert is looking fantastic. And yeah, I guess the prediction for the defensive side, I'm going to do 20-10. We're going to beat them
20
20
to
to 10.
10.
Yeah,
Okay.
20 to 10. I think our defense is going to step up. I mean, obviously we're going to have a few slip ups with Saquon Barkley. He's going to have a few breakout runs, but at it all, I really liked one of the guys says it. Yeah, Ron said it in here. I think Jaquan Brisker, it's his time to get a pick six. I would love to see that. And yeah.
Awesome. And this is actually my first ever super message out here, or I don't even know, like I think it's called super message. The ghost of Judah Tribe got sub true Bears fan. Thank you. I really appreciate that so much. So thank you so much. You are the first. So like
Wow.
I'm going to screenshot this and I'm going to keep this. So thank you. Thank you so much. It helps tremendously. So thank you. But yeah, so PayPal, so 20 to 10 is then your official finale.
Yes, and I really like what Tiftis says. And I know I want the Bears to pass the ball, but I just with how this scheme and how this game's been playing out, I just don't see us passing the ball more than 20 times, and it stinks because and I honestly think that kind of plays in with Justin Fields. He's always that big play guy. Like I think he loves being in like the control of the offense, and when we're running the ball, he doesn't feel like he's controlling the offense and getting in that rhythm. Like
Yeah.
so it's such a I'm always kind of mad at like, all right, like you want to play towards your strengths and your quarterback, but hey, the running game's doing well. We're winning games. Can't complain.
Yeah, and that's what I hope. Like what I hope happens at the end of this game is I hope that I hope we run the crap out of the ball because it works. It has worked. It's been efficient. When you're running 7 yards a carry, it's efficient as heck. Right? Like it's going crazy. Like just keep doing it. It's gonna go well. And I hope that when Fields goes up to the mic and they're like, well, we only passed it 15 times. Does that frustrate you? And he goes, we got the win. Or
Yeah.
I'm focused about winning. And when you have someone like Khalil that is a beast and won the ground award, like you give it to just give him the award. Like just give him the football, run it down their throats, like the ghost is saying. Like you do that and you dominate. Like that's what I feel like the Bears do. So for me, I'm going 23. I was actually going to copy. I think Nano posted it up top. It was like 27, like 28. I was actually really tempted to go there, but I'll go 23-17, right? Like
Okay.
40 is a good right in the middle. But also I totally forgot this. Turnovers. That's going to be huge. Like if you can do it. Yep, here we go. 28-17. That's
That's a good one.
Nanos, but I'm going to go 23-17 for mine. But yeah, the turnovers are also going to be key. We haven't even talked about that. Where if we're able to turn this ball over from Danny Dimes, that's going to be key. And yes, we won after multiple interceptions. Hopefully, we can limit those. Try and take the easy stuff. I love that he goes downfield, but we shall see. But I think overall, offense. Let's go. Bold prediction. I don't even know if the sad part is this probably isn't even that bold. 175 yards for Khalil Herbert, 2 tutties. I
Wow.
think
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think
It's almost like, yeah, it's a no-brainer almost,
you're like, you need to go bolder.
Yeah.
175 yards, just that. Like, come on.
Now a
Like,
hot take would be Justin Fields touchdown,
yeah,
you think,
right, right. Unfortunately, yeah, I like that. Danny Pennies. I'd
Oh,
rather than
no.
Danny Dimes. I love it.
Oh, that.
But yeah, like I feel honestly like I think 175 yards for him, 2 touchdowns. I think on the defensive side of the ball, let's go with this. It's I want to say like Al-Qadim Muhammad gets a sack. Is that bold enough? But
Yeah.
I'm actually going to go 2 sacks. I'm going to say a combined 2 sacks from the backups at the right end spot. So we're going to have 2 sacks from Dominique Robinson. So 1 sack from Dominique Robinson, 1 sack from Travis Gibson. Dominique Robinson getting a strip sack. That's what I'm feeling. So that's what I feel like. I'm feeling the strip sack out of Dominique Robinson to kind of like get people going. That's what I'm going with. So Bears end up winning. But yeah, Nano said
we'll be 3-1.
Yeah, 3-1. That's gonna be huge. But also, let's actually talk about that real quick. Like the Bears, if they can win against the Giants, the only thing that gets me nervous about is being at New York, right? Because of the atmosphere, because of everything that's going on. I felt like the Bears fans, I legit feel like we helped win some of the games, like with the 49ers especially. So hopefully we can come out establishing the run. Because, dude, if we just start establishing the run, New York's going to be pissed. Like, they're going to be like,
there we go again.
Yeah, come on. Like, but honestly, I think like the Bears beat the Giants. I think we lose to the Vikings. Like, think about this: Giants, Vikings, Washington. Hopefully, you can go 2-1 against that, right? Like, hopefully you can do that. And the Patriots don't have Mac Jones. We are not going to be seeing Mac Jones out there. So there's a good chance that we can end up being 5-2, right? Like, it's 1 week at a time. But honestly, if you just keep trying to stack 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, then I think then you can start doing something good. So last little bit that we are going to do, we've got to do this. We did this last week, but let's do our live AI prediction of the Chicago Bears. We have to do this. Let me share my screen real quick. I have it all preloaded on quarter4.io. Not a sponsor, but they gave me a free license to beta test. So we shall see. Let's check this out. Let's run simulate and let's see. Drum roll, please. I don't know if that actually gets picked up in the mics. So
yeah, I don't either.
Yeah, we are banging on our tables. New York Giants. Yeah, who needs AI? They are predicting in this simulation that the Giants win about a 53.9% of the time. They like Danny Dimes going 223 passing yards. Justin Fields only 111. I think that's the big key here is that they're showing that they don't really respect Justin Fields' throwing ability. For those that don't see it, like Trevor Siemian, 179 passing yards. If he were to start, that is discrimination. But yeah, but I think overall though, I think honestly, it's being away, right? Being away is going to be difficult for the Bears, and also the passing. We've talked about this, but let's turn the ball over. I see some people out here, Nano saying Brisker with a huge fumble. We have the Ghost saying a strip sack. Like, I think that's going to be game changing. So if we can turn the ball over, we can establish the run, and hopefully we don't turn the ball over. Justin Fields, let's have a good game. Doesn't have to be great. You don't have to run this team, right? So hopefully we end up getting the dub. But PayPal, thanks again for joining, breaking this down. Everybody, make sure to like and subscribe out there. Make sure to also follow us, Unbearable Sports, everywhere that you get your podcast. Just have to search for it. Make sure to rate 5 stars. We continue to raise money for charity. Every 5-star rating we get for the rest of this month is an extra $1 to the Thorn organization that helps fight against human trafficking. PayPal, I'm excited. I'm excited to get a sweatshirt that actually fits. That's coming in.
I might have to grab one too. I mean, it
you like
looks
it?
Cool. I love it. Yeah, I love the football. I love the flag. I love it's so sick.
Chicago flag. If you haven't checked it out, those listening, you can. I have a link in the description. I've owned the North merch that I created out there. Then Chicago flag, and then there's also the Chicago beers drinking shirt. I'm actually probably going to get a tank top for that for the bachelor party coming up. Yeah. I think I'm going to get that, like the beers thing. I think that's pretty sick if I do say so myself. But
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. I'm excited to break this down Sunday night. Let's get that dub. And Unbearable Sports Podcast, we're out.
Yeah, she's got some nice long hair, and you know that she's a bad chick.
Thank you for listening to this Belly Up Sports Podcast Network product. Some said we go belly up, so we made it our name, and we're still here.